How is it going, everybody? My name is DeMarco, and today I wanted to have the serious but very valid discussion as to whether or not we should be concerned about Starfield following the poor launch of Redfall. And that actually might be a bit of an understatement. Redfall, for all intents and purposes, was supposed to be a massive AAA blockbuster title for Xbox. It had the $70 price tag. It had, and this is anecdotal, but more marketing than I've seen for most past Arkane titles, with sponsorship deals and content creators all over the place promoting it. And that's awesome to see, but it did not live up to the expectations. And it even closed out the Xbox Summer Games Showcase a couple years back. All the signals were for this to be a great AAA blockbuster title, but it didn't hit that mark. And I reviewed the game on my channel. You can check that out if you're interested. If you're having fun with Redfall, which I know a lot of people are, that's great, but unquestionably and unanimously there's problems with Redfall at the core of the game. And even Phil Spencer stepped out to acknowledge those mistakes, took full responsibility for it, stated that it's not the level of quality we should expect from an Xbox game, and even went as far to say that they're refining and reviewing their internal processes in order to release higher quality products that fans and consumers are expecting from Xbox first-party games. And that was a big statement. I respect Phil Spencer for saying some of the things that he did. It's actually quite a big deal. Actions do speak louder than words, so we have to see where he goes with that moving forward, but at least the sentiment is in the right place. So should we be concerned about Starfield because of the way that Redfall launched? Yes, absolutely, but not for any reasons that haven't already been expressed in the past, either by myself or others in the community, or by Bethesda themselves during interviews. They're all concerns that have existed for the longest time and continue to exist independent of Redfall's launch. Now, most arguments surrounding this discussion, surrounding concern for Starfield, involve a new pressure for Starfield to be this massive AAA success that Xbox desperately needs, with some fans going as far to say that Xbox will die if they don't have the AAA first-party exclusive that they desperately need to have. That's very hyperbolic. They're not going to die and cease to exist and fall in some gutter if Starfield doesn't release perfectly as a 10 out of 10. But it is a valid concern. It is a valid discussion to be had, which Phil Spencer has acknowledged himself, that they do need to up the quality of their first-party titles. If they want to continue to sell these Game Pass subscriptions and to have Xbox console sales and to just promote Xbox as a platform to play your game on, they need to have the first-party titles to support it. And not just from the Xbox side of things, right? You have some misfires like Halo Infinite's launch, but also on the Bethesda side, you have several misfires at this point, whether it's Wolfenstein, Youngblood, Fallout 76, now Redfall. You could argue Ghostwire Tokyo, which didn't reach the potential that I think it could have, even though I actually really like that game. So there's several misfires on Bethesda's side as well. And it's part of the reason why a lot of folks were excited for the Microsoft acquisition of Bethesda, because a lot of those titles do a couple things in common, either multiplayer or they started introducing a lot of microtransactions and monetization into those products, which generally went against some of the things that fans love about Bethesda games. And the ideal situation is that Microsoft could come in and clean some of that stuff up. No more of these weird one-year exclusivity deals just to PlayStation before it comes out on. No more of the microtransactions. No, you don't need the multiplayer in your games. Focus on the single-player core experiences that we know Bethesda Studios do exceptionally well and we love them for. And now the assumption is that there's this new pressure for Starfield to carry the weight of all those past experiences, both Xbox, both Bethesda, on its shoulders, and to come out triumphant as a 10 out of 10 game. And that's not a new concern. In fact, that's something that's been echoed by Todd Howard himself during his interview with Lex Friedman, where he stated, yeah, there is a weight on Bethesda, Todd Howard, the team's shoulders to release a console-selling game. His words, not mine. And so, yes, you can argue that there's added pressure, more than there might have been in the past, but it already was there to some extent, independent of Redfall entirely. And on top of the fact that you have two completely different studios, just to address this and get it out of the way, you do have Redfall, Arkane, Starfield, Bethesda Game Studios, two completely different studios, two completely different titles, targeting two completely different styles. In fact, the only thing they have in common is what? The first-person shooting. They both have skill trees, and you could loot weapons in the game, which describes maybe 85% of titles that you can purchase for video games. So there you go. Just need to get that out of the way. But the other commentary that gets thrown around is whether or not Phil Spencer is going to turn and force Microsoft, or Bethesda, excuse me, you need to have the platform selling game, and you need to get it out now, and it needs to be in 2023, and you can't have any more delays, and whatever you have, it has to go out to consumers. Well, that completely contradicts what Phil Spencer just said, where they are internally reviewing and planning out how to properly map out and allocate resources to support these studios. And that's in addition to the fact that, and this is something addressed by Phil Spencer as well, Starfield has been in the pipeline with Microsoft at its back longer than Redfall was. So it's been getting more support from Microsoft, which should mean we're getting that higher level of quality. Again, alleviating some of those concerns that might come about because of the way that Redfall launched. As to whether or not Phil Spencer is going to force this game out because it needs to be a win, I don't think so. In fact, I would be surprised if the red lights weren't flashing, buzzers going off, sirens wailing in regards to telling the team to take a step back, to really truly evaluate Starfield. Is this in the condition we want to launch it in? We have no idea the state of Starfield currently. We've seen some gameplay, not that much. We'll get another taste in June of the game, but we don't know how it's performing. And so Phil Spencer can take a step back and really evaluate, is this in the condition it needs to be? Do you need more time? If I were Phil Spencer, I'd be just taking a shopping list saying, all right, what do you need? You need 60 new developers? Okay, check. Here's 60 more developers to help. Oh, 100? Okay, sure. We'll get you 100. 3 new QA teams? Great. It's coming to you. Oh, you need 10 PCs with 4090s to continue to test? Great. And optimize? Here you go. We bought them for you. They're on the way, right? Here's a blank check. Fill out whatever value you need on it to make the best experience possible. Giving Bethesda and Todd Howard those resources should be Microsoft's main focus. And if they need more time, it's already been delayed twice. Fans would be disappointed, but willing to take a third delay if it did come to that. We'd be happier for getting the overall better, more polished experience. So the pressure is something that already existed. Even if there is more now, it was already there. I don't think Phil Spencer is necessarily going to force without providing the resources to get things done as they need to be done. Just because, again, Starfield, even before, and this is a point worth mentioning as well, even before Redfall launched, Starfield was always the big title. It was 110% the biggest title for Xbox, the most important title to Xbox from the get-go, to the point where we've already seen the controllers out in the wild. We've seen the Xbox branded, the Starfield branded Xbox boxes that you buy them in. You know, it's all over the place. And so absolutely this game will get the resources it needs. And the concerns that I have are things that already existed, whether it is the pressure or things for me personally is going to be the performance of the game. How many bugs? Are they game breaking? Or are they something like the physics just whacking out? Because some of those are acceptable. Some of those are a big no-no as far as bugs are concerned. Is it going to have fun flight mechanics? Because Bethesda's never done vehicles in their games before. So is the ship flying going to be fun? Is the procedural generation going to be engaging, worthwhile? Is it going to add to the experience or dilute it a little bit? And how does that play out? And these are things that myself and the community have discussed at large. And so, again, I'm looking forward to it. I'm very confident, and I hope that some of you guys are as well. So thank you for listening to this ramble. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. If I missed anything, if there's other concerns that you have I didn't address here, I want to hear about it. Start a discussion down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really helps out the channel. And as always, I hope to see you all next time. So long, everybody.